Marjorie hated the sheriff's pregnant wife. She hated her roses. She hated that Emily wouldn't follow her rules. So Marjorie decided to teach her a lesson. She broke into their house while Emily was sleeping. She put poison in Emily's medicine. Some lessons are deadly. Before watching full video, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. Get those ugly roses out of my sight. The screaming voice shattered the peaceful evening in Willow Creek. I looked up from my patrol car to see Marjorie Klein standing in our front yard, waving a clipboard like a weapon at my 7 months pregnant wife Emily. "Ma'am, please step back," Emily said softly, her hands protective over her belly. "These roses were here when we moved in. I don't care. I'm the HOA president now, and those weeds are violations." Marjorie's face was red with rage, her sharp eyes blazing with hatred. I slammed my car door and walked toward them, my sheriff's badge catching the dying sunlight. This was the third time this week that Marjorie had confronted Emily while I was at work. "Is there a problem here?" I asked, keeping my voice calm but firm. Marjorie spun around to face me, her clipboard clutched tight against her chest. "Sheriff Morrison. Perfect timing. Your wife refuses to follow HOA regulations. Those roses are an eyesore and a violation of our community standards." Emily looked at me with tired eyes. This woman had been making her life hell for weeks, and I could see the stress was wearing on her. "The roses stay," I said simply. Marjorie's mouth dropped open. "Excuse me? You heard me. The roses stay. Now get off my property." Her face twisted with fury. "Your badge doesn't scare me, Sheriff. I make the rules in this neighborhood now. And I'm going to make your life miserable until you learn to respect my authority." She stormed off, but I could see the wheels turning in her head. This wasn't over. I was right. It was just the beginning of a war that would cost me everything. She was in her 50s, thin and sharp-eyed, always carrying a clipboard and wearing a sour expression. Within 2 weeks of moving in, she got herself elected as president of our homeowners association. That's when the trouble started. Marjorie began her reign of terror immediately. She walked around the neighborhood every morning at exactly 7 a.m., looking for violations. Mrs. Peterson got a fine because her mailbox was the wrong shade of blue. The Johnsons were cited for having their garbage cans visible from the street. Old Mr. Garcia received a warning because his grass was half an inch too tall. But Marjorie saved her worst behavior for Emily and me. It started with a letter slipped under our door. "Violation notice," it read in red letters. "The roses in your front yard are not approved plants according to HOA guidelines. Remove immediately or face fines." Emily laughed when she read it. "What guidelines? I've lived here for 5 years. These roses were here when we moved in." I took the letter from her hands. As sheriff, I knew bullies when I saw them. Marjorie was testing us, seeing how far she could push. "Don't worry about it," I told Emily. "She's just trying to flex her power. The roses stay." That was my first mistake. I should have known that ignoring a bully only makes them angrier. The next week, another letter arrived. This one threatened a $500 fine if the roses weren't removed within 48 hours. Emily was upset now, her hands shaking as she held the paper. "Jake, what if she really finds us? We're saving every penny for the baby." I put my arms around her. "She can't fine us for flowers that were here before she moved in. I'll handle this." I marched across the street to Marjorie's house. She answered the door with a fake smile. "Sheriff Morrison. What a pleasant surprise." "Cut the act, Marjorie. Leave my wife alone. The roses aren't going anywhere." Her smile disappeared. "I'm the HOA president now. I make the rules. Your wife thinks she's special because she's married to a cop, but the rules apply to everyone. Those roses were planted by the previous owners. Emily just takes care of them. I don't care who planted them. They're violations now." She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Your badge doesn't scare me, Sheriff. In this neighborhood, I'm the law." I felt my jaw clench. "We'll see about that." But Marjorie was just getting started. Over the next month, she made our lives hell. She called the city to complain about our excessive water usage from watering the garden. She reported our car for being parked too close to the fire hydrant, even though it was perfectly legal. She even called animal control on our neighbor's cat, claiming it was disturbing the peace. The final straw came on a Tuesday evening. I was working late on a robbery case when my phone rang. It was Emily and she was crying. "Jake, you need to come home. Now." I raced home, my heart pounding. I found Emily sitting on our front steps, tears streaming down her face. In front of our house was a large sign that read, Violation: homeowner in contempt of HOA regulations. She put it up an hour ago, Emily sobbed. All the neighbors saw. I'm so embarrassed. I saw red. This wasn't just about flowers anymore. Marjorie was humiliating my pregnant wife in front of the whole neighborhood. I stormed across the street and pounded on Marjorie's door. When she opened it, she was smirking. Like my new sign, Sheriff? Take it down. Now. It stays up until your wife learns to follow the rules like everyone else. I stepped closer, using my height to intimidate her. I'm warning you, Marjorie. Stop harassing my family. She laughed. Or what? You'll arrest me? For being a good HOA president? I don't think so. She was right, and we both knew it. Being annoying wasn't illegal. I had no grounds to arrest her, and she was smart enough to stay just within the law. I went home and took down the sign myself. Emily was in the bathroom, throwing up from stress. The sight of my pregnant wife sick because of that woman's cruelty filled me with rage. This has to stop, Emily whispered when she came out. I can't take much more of this stress. It's not good for the baby. I held her close. I'll figure something out. I promise. But I didn't know how. Marjorie was careful to stay legal with her harassment. As a law enforcement officer, I couldn't just make her disappear no matter how much I wanted to. The war escalated over the next 2 weeks. Marjorie started taking pictures of our house at all hours, looking for new violations. She measured our grass with a ruler. She counted how many seconds our sprinklers ran. She even timed how long our guests stayed in our driveway. Emily stopped going outside. She was afraid to tend to her roses because Marjorie would appear with her camera and clipboard, taking notes and making threats. My wife, who had always been strong and confident, became nervous and jumpy. I just want her to leave us alone, Emily said one night as we lay in bed. I don't care about the stupid roses anymore. Maybe we should just get rid of them. No, I said firmly. We're not giving in to her bullying. Those roses make you happy, and anything that makes you happy stays. But I was losing the battle, and I knew it. Marjorie was wearing us down, one violation notice at a time. Then came the night that changed everything. I was at the station finishing paperwork when I got the call that would haunt me forever. It was Emily, and something was terribly wrong. Jake. Her voice was weak, frightened. Something's happening. I can't breathe right. I dropped everything and raced home, calling an ambulance on the way. I found Emily collapsed in our living room, her face pale and sweaty, clutching her stomach. The baby, she gasped. Something's wrong with the baby. The paramedics arrived within minutes, but it felt like hours. They loaded Emily into the ambulance, and I followed in my patrol car, breaking every speed limit in the county. At the hospital, the doctors ran test after test. Emily lay on the bed, looking small and scared, her hand gripping mine. Sheriff Morrison? Dr. Richards appeared at the door, his face grave. We need to talk. In the hallway, he delivered the words that shattered my world. Your wife has been poisoned. A toxic substance is in her bloodstream. We're doing everything we can to stabilize her, but the baby? What about the baby? I demanded. The poison has affected the fetus. We're monitoring the heartbeat, but it's very weak. I felt the floor drop out from under me. Poisoned? How? We're not sure yet. Has she taken any new medications? Vitamins? Supplements? My mind raced. Emily was careful about everything during her pregnancy. She only took her prescribed prenatal vitamins and the iron supplements Dr. Martinez had given her last week. Then it hit me. The vitamins. Emily took them every morning with breakfast, the same routine for months. I need to go home, I told the doctor. Sheriff, your wife needs you here. I'll be back. I need to check something first. I drove home like a man possessed. In our kitchen, I found Emily's vitamin bottle on the counter. Using my flashlight and magnifying glass, I examined the pills carefully. Some looked different. Slightly discolored, with tiny pinholes like they'd been tampered with. I called my deputy, Sarah Chin, and had her bring the crime scene kit. While I waited, I knocked on doors, asking neighbors if they'd seen anything unusual. Most people were too scared of Marjorie to talk, but old Mr. Jenkins, who lived next door, pulled me aside. Sheriff, I probably shouldn't say anything, but I saw Marjorie coming out of your house 3 days ago. In the afternoon when you were at work and Emily was napping. My blood turned to ice. Coming out of my house? How did she get in? She had a key. Said something about HOA inspections when I asked her about it later. Thought you knew. I felt sick. Emily often napped in the afternoons and left the spare key under the flower pot for me. Marjorie must have been watching our routine. I thanked Mr. Jenkins and went back to wait for Sarah. When she arrived, we bagged the vitamin bottle and dusted for fingerprints on the kitchen counter and medicine cabinet. "Jake, what's going on?" Sarah asked. "Why are we treating your yard like a crime scene?" "Because it is one. Someone poisoned my wife." Sarah's eyes widened. "Emily? Is she okay?" "She's in the hospital." "The baby?" I couldn't finish the sentence. We rushed the evidence to the state lab, and I called in every favor I had to get priority processing. While we waited for results, I sat by Emily's bedside, holding her hand and praying. At 3 a.m., the machines monitoring our baby's heartbeat went quiet. Noah was gone. Emily's sobs echoed through the hospital corridors. I held her as she cried, my own tears falling silently. Our son, who we'd loved and planned for and dreamed about, was dead before he ever had a chance to live. "I'm sorry," Emily kept saying. "I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful." "This isn't your fault," I told her, but inside I was burning with rage. Someone had done this to us. Someone had murdered our child. The lab results came back the next morning. The hose was contaminated with a powerful herbicide called paraquat, a chemical so toxic it could kill a person with a small dose. Emily had been watering her roses every day, and the poison had been absorbed through her skin. I knew who had done this, but I needed proof that would hold up in court. I started watching Marjorie. I parked down the street from her house and observed her daily routine. I checked her garbage, looking for evidence. I interviewed every neighbor, asking about her behavior over the past few weeks. Mrs. Carter, a widow who lived 3 houses down from Marjorie, finally gave me what I needed. "She was bragging at the last HOA meeting," Mrs. Carter whispered, looking around nervously. "Said she was going to teach that sheriff's wife a lesson about following rules. She said she had a way to make Emily's precious roses die, and maybe that would get her attention. That was enough for a search warrant. Judge Morrison, no relation despite the same name, signed it immediately when I explained the situation. I assembled a team and went to Marjorie's house. She answered the door in her bathrobe, furious. "What is the meaning of this?" she demanded. "Search warrant," I said, handing her the paper. "Step aside. This is harassment. I'm calling my lawyer." "You do that." We found the evidence in her garage. A small syringe, empty vials that had contained ricin, and detailed instructions on how to inject pills with poison. We also found Emily's daily schedule, which Marjorie had been tracking, noting what time Emily took her vitamins each morning. But the most damning evidence was Marjorie's diary, where she had written detailed plans for her revenge against that uppity sheriff's wife who thinks she's above the rules. One entry read, "Found out where she keeps spare key. Easy access when she naps. Her vitamins will teach her a lesson she'll never forget." I arrested Marjorie Klein for the murder of my unborn son and the attempted murder of my wife. As I put the handcuffs on her wrist, she finally dropped her act. "Your wife had it coming," she snarled. "She thought she was better than everyone else. I wanted her to suffer like she made me suffer. You broke into our house and poisoned her medicine," I said. "So what?" "She should have followed the rules. I only meant to make her sick, not kill the baby." "But you knew the poison was deadly," I said. "I researched it carefully. I knew exactly what I was doing." Even then, facing murder charges, Marjorie couldn't admit what she'd done was wrong. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Marjorie's lawyer tried to argue that she only meant to make Emily sick, not kill the baby. But the prosecution proved that she had researched ricin extensively and knew exactly how lethal it was. Her diary entries showed premeditation and intent to cause serious harm. The jury took only 2 hours to find her guilty of voluntary manslaughter and attempted murder. The judge sentenced her to 25 years in prison. I felt no satisfaction when the gavel fell. Marjorie going to prison wouldn't bring Noah back. Emily didn't attend the trial. She couldn't bear to look at the woman who had killed our son. She spent most days in bed, staring at the ceiling, barely speaking. I tried everything to help her heal. I brought her favorite foods, played her favorite music, held her when she cried. But grief had built a wall around her that I couldn't break through. One night, I found her in Noah's nursery, holding the tiny clothes we'd bought for him. "I can still feel him moving sometimes," she whispered. "Then I remember he's gone and it's like losing him all over again." I sat beside her on the floor. "I failed you both. I should have protected you." Emily looked at me with tears in her eyes. "You couldn't have known what she was planning. I should have arrested her for harassment. I should have done something before it was too late." Emily took my hand. "We can't change what happened. But we can't let her destroy us completely. That would mean she wins." Slowly, very slowly, we began to heal. We started talking about Noah, sharing memories of the months we'd carried him, the dreams we'd had for his future. It hurt, but it also helped keep him alive in our hearts. Emily suggested we plant a new garden where the roses had been. Not roses this time, but marigolds, bright, strong flowers that could survive anything. We worked in the dirt together, our hands side by side, planting new life where death had visited. The neighbors came to help, bringing flowers and kind words. They had all been victims of Marjorie's bullying in their own ways, and they were grateful to see her gone. The HOA dissolved after Marjorie's arrest. The neighborhood became a real community again, with people looking out for each other instead of looking for violations. 6 months after Noah's death, Emily and I sat in our new garden as the sun set over Willow Creek. The marigolds glowed golden in the fading light. "I'll never stop missing him," Emily said softly. "Neither will I," I replied. "But we're still here. We're still together." Emily leaned against me. She took our son, but she didn't take us. I wrapped my arms around my wife, holding her close. Marjorie Klein had tried to destroy our family over something as simple as roses in a garden. Her petty tyranny had cost us our child and nearly cost us each other. But we survived. Scarred and changed, but still together. As the stars appeared in the darkening sky, I made a silent promise to Noah and to Emily. I would spend the rest of my life protecting the people I loved, and I would never again underestimate the damage that evil could do when good people looked the other way. The marigolds swayed gently in the evening breeze, bright and beautiful and alive. Like us, they had grown from dark soil into something stronger. In Willow Creek, under the vast Texas sky, we were learning to live again, one day, one flower, one fragile step at a time.